What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. The new Pokemon games Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon have been announced, and the hype train is already going from coast to coast. We're getting Pokemon sequels 1 year after the originals? Sure, I beat Sun version inside of a month, but this still seems like an incredibly short time. It'll be here before we know it, so what do we want in these games? It seems that they listened to fans for the first Sun and Moon, with the return of character customization, the addition of Battle Royales, Pokemon Snap minigames, and more. So, if we say it loud enough, we'll get whatever we want in these games. So join with me in sharing your hopes for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. My first hope is for alternate events. They've already said that the Ultra games will be retellings of Sun and Moon instead of sequels, so this is already somewhat guaranteed, but let me explain what I mean. I want it to be at least as different as Black and White 2 were, but instead of it being years later, it would be because it's an entirely different universe. I hope to see different locations that weren't there or simply weren't used in the first game, like the golf course on Akala Island. But I also hope that the story has at least a couple of drastically different parts from the original, so that it truly feels like a different game altogether. It would even be cool if there were some story points that differed between Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, truly giving everyone a different experience. Maybe the Aether Foundation is overtly evil in 1 with Team Skull being good, like was speculated before the first games came out. More than just that though, I hope that some of the people or locations that we have seen before will be different. It would be such a thrill to see someone we thought we knew and completely turn them on their head, like Nanu wanting to be nice and helpful. Basically, I'm hoping for at least a little taste of Pokemon Earth 2, giving subtle admission to the multiverse theory of Pokemon. Next is alternate universes. This one is sort of a given. Official announcements have said that these games will be alternate tellings of the story from the first game. But we're already familiar with the concept because Sun and Moon are already different universes from one another. And it's likely that this is the case for every version out there. However, Sun and Moon gave us an even further look behind the multiverse curtain with the Ultra Wormholes and the Looker missions. He's the one that introduces us to our friend that came directly from Emerald version, and we learned that Ultra Wormholes are the key to traveling between dimensions. We even do this when traveling through to the opposite lake to get the other Cosmog. And that's what I want. It doesn't have to be much, but if there is an increased focus on the Ultra Beasts and Ultra Wormholes, then it would make sense to have the privilege of traveling to another world to do something substantial. Maybe they could even pull your save file from the old game and have you battle your team from when you first entered the Hall of Fame. Somebody call Nintendo, that is a genius idea. My next hope is for more Alolan forms. I mentioned in my Missed Opportunities video about how even though I loved regional variants as a concept, there were not nearly enough of them for my taste. There were about half as many as the Megas in Generation 6, but there could have been so much more. And there still can be. We could find new creatures in certain spots of Alola, or even entirely new islands could house the brethren of some old favorites. It doesn't matter that Pokemon Bank has made it so that all Pokemon can be in Alola, because simply being there doesn't turn every Vulpix into an Ice type. They have to be raised there. So truthfully, any Pokemon could have an Alolan form outside of the 300 in the Pokédex from the first Sun and Moon. If Oros added more Megas, then the Ultras can surely add more Alolan forms. And the argument that these are additions instead of remakes doesn't hold up, because X and Y didn't have any additions, so they can do it however they want. Alolan forms are a perfect way to further the culture and environment of the region, and not just for Generation 1 Pokemon. They could get lots of people in on it that are in need of some quality attention. And it may be a long shot, but I'm hoping for more new Pokemon. The subtitles on the Japanese trailer said that these games would contain new Pokemon. Now this may have simply been referring to the armored Digivolve states of the mascot legendaries, or simply be their way of announcing additional Alolan forms. But many are taking it at face value and believing that we will be getting at least some original Pokemon. I definitely hope that this is their plan. Another missed opportunity I pointed out was the sheer lack of new Pokemon available in Alola. And with less than 100 of the critters, one generation of that was fine, but this simply should not be the new pattern. Even if they don't have enough good designs, that's never stopped them from churning them out in the past. Even if it's just 30 or so, it would be exhilarating to see even more new Pokemon to encounter. And again, the argument that they can't doesn't hold up, because they've done third games, then a pair of sequels, then nothing, then a pair of third games, so they can do whatever they want. Even if you're worried about the Pokédex ending with legendaries, they could easily pull out another wave of Ultra Beasts to tack onto the end and wrap it up in a nice bow. And honestly, they might do that anyway. Sure, it's never been done, and that does make it a little less likely, but not impossible. And to paraphrase what one of my Imperials has said, regions come and go, but the Pokemon stay forever. Meaning that no matter how much the Alola region wows us, we will eventually have to move on. But the Pokemon they bring forth from each region will go on through all future generations. And the last thing we want to do down the line is look at a region compared to its brethren and see it as inferior because of the smaller contributions it made to the roster as a whole. I don't want that to happen to Alola, so it's my hope that they'll add at least a few new Pokemon to secure their legacy. But mostly, I hope that this is not the end for Generation 7. These games are coming out only a year after this generation has started, meaning that on average, there would be at least a full year of dead space before Generation 8 comes out, if not more. So I hope that there will be more of this generation to surprise us and keep us excited until the next major news comes out. I want Generation 7 to go out on top, but I'm sure that if this were all the developers had in store, they wouldn't put it out so early in its life cycle, so there's still hope yet. So, there are my top hopes for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. What do you hope will be in these new games? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!